So, maybe I mentioned this to one or two of you yesterday. A meeting with the State Department official a couple of weeks ago. There was a conference sponsored by the Russian government. The Russians are trying to figure out what they should do, because the Americans have agreed that there'll be a conference, an international conference in the Middle East sometime in 2010. So the Russians began putting together brainstorming meetings, and there was a senior State Department official there who described the current situation between Israel and Palestine in the following creative way. Said the Israelis want negotiations without results, and the Palestinians want results without negotiations, which I think is true. But I agree that there's basically nothing left to negotiate. Everything's been negotiated. What hasn't been done is making decisions on the issues. And perhaps we don't have the leadership with the ability to make those decisions. We also have the fact, as I said last night, that the President Obama in Cairo said that for the first time, the resolution of this conflict is in American national security, national strategic interest, which means that it goes out of the hands of the Israelis and the Palestinians. Israelis and Palestinians no longer have the right to veto progress in this process, because this is an issue which is too valuable to the stability and security of the world, of the region, of the world. So I think that there are things that can be done that get us beyond negotiations. When we get back to the table, the negotiations have to be about a plan that's on the table that we basically can't say no to, and the negotiations are on how to implement it, not on how to disagree with it. And there are different ways of, different variations on that theme of what can be done to make a strategic change in the framework of the negotiations or the Israeli-Palestinian relationship. So all this talk about Jewish state or non-Jewish state or free settlements or not free settlements is all the foreplay. And it's insignificant and a stupid waste of time. And the fact that the Americans are playing the game is rather distressing to me, because I don't think we have time. And I think that part of the problem is that the American administration, with all their expertise and good ideology, haven't figured out yet what they want to do. They haven't decided. I don't know, the face of their plate is full with things that are much more problematic and serious to the American president, like healthcare, like Afghanistan and Pakistan, like Iraq. And these things are probably before Israel and Palestine. But Barack Obama did say that he was going to deal with this problem, and that he thought that a resolution could be reached within the first 2 years of his administration. So they need to get kicking, because they're losing time. I'm going to be in Washington. I'm hoping to meet with Senator Mitchell. I'm hoping to meet with other people. I don't know, it depends on their travel schedule. Today, this evening, right now, in fact, Hillary Clinton is having dinner with Benjamin Netanyahu. She met yesterday with Mahmoud Abbas in Dubai, and she's there trying to figure out what can go in. And she heard from Mahmoud Abbas yesterday that the Palestinians will not come back to the table unless there's a settlement freeze. And I will tell you that they're not going to get a settlement freeze. It's not doable. The settlers will never agree. And they never listen to the government of Israel anyway, and they have an interest in embarrassing the American president. So putting all these eggs in the basket of a settlement freeze is stupid. It's a stupid waste of time. So I hope I answered that part of the question. The second question is what can you do and what you should do. And I met with Michael Lerner when I was in San Francisco, Berkeley. I think that unless I'm wrong, and I'll find out next week when I'm in Washington, I think that what happened between Michael Lerner and J Street was a communication error. Because the rumor that I heard was different than what Michael told me happened. So I'll hear from Jeremy Ben-Ami, their side of the story, and try and mediate and figure out what it is. It might be, and this might not be entirely not intelligent, that J Street is actually interested in having a Jewish opposition on the left. If J Street is attacked by the left, it might help them to deal with having more credibility from mainstream Jewish groups. So this might be a strategy of J Street. This is one of the things that Michael Lerner suggested. I'm not sure that it's true with regard to Michael Lerner and Tikkun. I think if this was Jeremy's choice, then it was a wrong choice. I think there are other bodies on the left that would be better for J Street to be attacked by, like Jewish Voice for Peace, or any of the Jewish groups that are supporting BDS, boycott, and sanction, and I think that should be the cutting line between who's included in J Street and who's not. If you're supporting BDS, you should not be in J Street.
BDS?
Boycott, divestment, and sanctions against the state of Israel. And there are movements, Jewish and non-Jewish, who are supporting BDS. It's completely insignificant and stupid and will never have an impact. Israel is not South Africa, apartheid South Africa. And if you want to hurt Israel economically, then you have to get the governments, not the private sector, but first the governments of the United States, the European Union, Japan, China, India along. And if you think that some people in Berkeley who are boycotting Israeli products are going to have an impact on the Israeli economy, then you're living in a different planet. So it's a nuisance issue. It's not even a nuisance. It doesn't even show up as a blip on the Israeli radar screen. But in terms of politics here, particularly in places like the Bay Area, it's a significant a rift in the Jewish community. What can you do? What you should do? Well, first of all, those of you who are members of organizations, be active members of your organizations that are working for peace and are working for bridging gaps of understanding or misunderstanding within the Jewish community or between the Jewish community and Muslim communities that exist wherever you're living. Get involved in an organization that you like and support it, work for it, help them. We're all suffering. We help to create a network of Israeli and Palestinian peace organizations. If you go to peacengo.org, you will find the Palestinian-Israeli Peace NGO Forum. Think about, I think we registered this domain 4 years ago, and the domain peacengo.org was available. What does that say about the world? We have about 100 Israeli and Palestinian peace organizations in this network. Almost all of them are on the verge of collapse. We're struggling for survival. I should not be here in Tucson, and I'm glad to be here, but I should not be here. I should be at home working. And I have to spend 3.5 weeks intensively on the road to raise money, which I call nickel and dime money. But this is our basic survival money. If I don't raise this, I don't have money for rent, I don't have money for our salaries. We were 32 people on staff in 2004, and we're 5 people on staff today. And we're a serious organization. This is a very serious period with less money available for doing peace work than ever before. And everyone in the world is hurting. Everyone here is hurting. The situation is different. But I don't know amongst the Jewish Americans that I know anyone who can't afford to send a $100 donation to an organization for world peace. Go out for dinner one less time. Go out to the movies. Do something once less this year than you would normally do. You can send $100. $100 pays for one of my teachers to go to the workshops that we run. We do these workshops 4 times a year. I don't have money for these workshops. Every workshop that we do, we're in debt. We owe our place where we rent office space $15,000 rent. They're gracious enough to hold up on demanding our rent payment. They could throw us into the streets. Fortunately, it's in a Vatican-owned place, and they like us, and they're not going to throw us out. But that's the reality. So there's a lot that you can do to help, even with the difficult economic situation here. Your situation is a lot better than most of ours back at home. Almost none of the people that I know who are doing this work at home relate to this as a business or as a job. Most of the people that I know who do this work are really dedicated to it and see this as their life's work, their life calling. And with me, I've had countless opportunities to become very wealthy in the field of business. I've had lots of job offers over the years. That doesn't talk to me. That's not what I'm interested in. But I must admit, it's becoming increasingly hard doing this work. I'm making less money today than I did 15 years ago. And I hate living in overdraft. And I have a family. I have 3 kids. And we haven't had a vacation in 3 years. I can't afford to take a vacation. And it's unpleasant. Now, I'm not here to cry to you. I'm just giving myself as an example, because there are many other organizations in the same situation.